today was a pretty crazy day in sports. You had a lot going on today. You had some Showtime boxing going on. You had the NHL playoffs going on. That's the only playoff series going on now that basketball is over and with the Miami Heat winning. Some crazy stuff today. Let's get down to the NHL hockey first. You had the Blackhawks. Pretty much they led the whole way. They never gave up the lead. They won 3-1. The scores, I guess, doesn't really tell the whole story. It was 2-1. It was 1-0 in the first period, 2-0 in the second. Somewhere around the third. In the third period, the Bruins got a goal, so it was 2-1. Still pretty close. In that final minute or so of the third period, the Bruins went with an empty net and had their goalie coming out to try and have an extra man out there to get the puck and try and tie the game up. But it didn't work in their favor. And at one point, one of the Blackhawk players ended up just hitting it from kind of, I don't want to say like half court in basketball, but from quite a distance, and actually made it into the goal. Like I said, it was an empty net, so that's how it was 3-1. The first two goals for the Blackhawks were from Patrick Kane, 1 goal shy of a hat trick. So Patrick Kane was your leading man for this game. Solid performance from him. Everyone knows who he is, and that's what they expect from a player such as that. And so the Blackhawks now have the 3-2 lead in this series. That was Game 5. So now I believe they're heading back to Chicago. And I don't know. We'll have to see where the series goes. The Bruins will need to get back into the series with the win. And then with that being said, they can't get into the series if they don't have their center, Patrice Bergeron, who only played for 49 seconds in the second period of this game. He left the game after less than a minute in the second period with some sort of injury, and he was taken to a Chicago hospital. So there you go. That explains they're not in Boston no more. So I believe I'm still not sure if the next game is in Boston or Chicago, but this Game 5 was in Chicago. And so like I was saying, Bergeron was taken to a hospital in Chicago to get treated. They had updates as far as what happened originally when he was kind of out of the second period, and they didn't know it was undisclosed injury. They tried talking to the coach, Claude Julien, I believe is his name. I may be saying that wrong a little bit. But he said no update, and he said they have no update on him right now, and he said there's nothing to be concerned about until there is an update. So, they're just, I guess, taking precautionary measures. We don't really know what his injury was. So I don't know. It's still up in the air. No one's going to know how serious it is. That's something we'll have to keep you updated on the Sports Minded page on Facebook, facebook.com/sportsminded, and also on the website, sportsmindednews.com. So that's something that we can have updated for you guys once we find out something. Like I said, Patrick Kane had 2 goals. You also had the center, Jonathan Towles, I believe is his name. He missed the third period due to an injury. So a lot of injuries in this game, and it really may change the series and the way things are looked at going forward. Like I said, the Blackhawks only have 1 game. Going into a little bit of the soccer, you had Brazil defeat Italy earlier today, 4-2, and they win Group A. But both teams will advance into the Confederation Cup semifinals. You had quite a few people score 2 goals. Fred is the only name I have written down here. I was kind of in a rush with the notes. So Fred, I don't know how much different his name is, being from a different country, but he had 2 goals. And Neymar and Dante also scored a goal for Brazil. So those were where your 4 goals came from in that game. That's something as well we'll have to keep you updated with. There's a lot of soccer going on right now, trying to get into the Confederation Cups and whatnot. So yeah, I mean, that's definitely something we'll keep you updated with. You still have this stuff with Aaron Hernandez, the tight end for the Patriots. I believe the police were at his house checking checking every little part of his house. They were there for up to 3 hours, if I'm not mistaken. Pretty crazy stuff. I believe he may be. I think they were gonna have a warrant on him, or I mean, let alone the fact he was already someone they were looking into as a possible suspect or someone who may have known something. But supposedly he destroyed his cell phone, had some cleaners come into his house and clean up some stuff. So he's not looking like he's in a very good case right now. May be the end of his career, as far as I know. So yeah, that's definitely something you guys want to avoid if you're in a fantasy league. But anyways, as I mentioned and I talked about at the beginning of the show, there was some boxing going on today. You had Banks in the second fight. In the second fight of the Showtime card today on June 22nd, you had Banks going up against Seth Mitchell. I believe this was a rematch of a previous match in which Banks won. Banks won the first match. They were supposed to have a rematch for the title, for a heavyweight title. You know how confusing those titles can be in boxing. I know I get them mixed up. But anyways, it was a heavyweight weight class, and Seth Mitchell had his rematch set up and was supposed to be fighting against Banks, but I guess Banks had a hand injury and wasn't able to defend the title right then, so they just postponed it. And that was like last November, I want to say, but I'm not sure. Anyways, this fight did happen today, and Seth Mitchell did get the better end of the deal, and he got the win and the belt. Crazy thing out of this was, well, not crazy, but a lot of people weren't very excited for this match. It went the distance. It went 12 rounds. By the 10th round, people were booing and ready to see the next fight, which was Paulie versus Broner. So yeah, everyone was excited to see that fight. You had a lot of people there. It was an Oscar De La Hoya Golden Boy Promotions event, so Oscar De La Hoya was there. You had Mayweather there. French Montana, I guess, was there. He came out with Broner. So anyways, before I get into that, just that Seth Mitchell was victorious there. And there was a lot of commotion. This was at the Barclays Center, the new arena where the Nets play in Brooklyn. So Paulie, I can't even pronounce his first name. His last name, excuse me. It's just a mess. But we'll just call him Paulie. So Paulie, he was the hometown guy going into that. He had the crowd behind him. Pretty crazy stuff. This didn't have a lot of power in his punches. So I don't know how he was planning to beat Broner. Broner almost like a mini Floyd Mayweather in a way, which would set up for a nice match in the future. Broner did get the win. He seemed very much like Floyd Mayweather, just kind of blocking shots, just kind of getting in punches when he can, and he got the better end of the deal and won the title because Paulie went in as a champion, I believe. So 27-0, I think Broner is now. So he's definitely the future of boxing right now, especially with Floyd Mayweather. Have, I think, how many matches? 5 more left or whatever, and Pacquiao's kind of taking that step down as well. So this Broner guy is someone to look out for. But the most interesting thing about that fight was the ending. At the end of the fight, right before it was even announced who won, Paulie took it upon himself to go up to Broner and say, "Hey, good fight," sportsmanship, which is always a classy move to make. But and even then, when they showed it, it didn't seem like Broner was really wanting to hear it or listen to it. He just, he just kind of played it off like whatever. He didn't really want to hear what Paulie had to say. But right after it was announced who won, they did the post-fight interview with Broner, and Broner just goes over here and starts bashing him, Paulie, and says, "I beat him for the title in his hometown, and then he took his girl." Supposedly they knew the same girl. I don't know the whole story, so I'm not getting into that. But was during the interview. and pretty much said he took the belt from him and he took his girl or whatever. And that got Paulie mad, so I mean, I think all the sportsmanship went out the window. And I'm surprised Paulie didn't punch him, but Paulie kind of was ready to. He did get in his face and was trying to. He was at the same time kind of telling him, "This isn't the place to do it. And I don't know why you're going there, or whatever." But then after, when Paulie was spoken to, after they kind of broke him up, he kind of went on a little rant on how he thinks boxing is set up and he lost in his hometown. So yeah, this is all pretty crazy. I mean, boxing is not as big as it used to be, and I think when things like this happen, it doesn't do it any favors, but it can set up for a nice rematch, I guess, between the two fighters. I don't know. It was something interesting that I saw on COD today. I don't know how many of you guys saw it, but if you did, let me know. Leave me a comment. And if you didn't, I'm sure it'll be all over YouTube. If I can find a link to it, I'll even post it in the description box for you guys to check out. And another interesting fact about this whole event was that the ring was not in very good shape. It was up on some sort of hill or some sort, where to the middle of the ring was at a hill or was on a hill or something, and it was kind of like if they were standing in the middle of the ring, it was just uneven, and I don't know. And I think at one point there were so many people in the ring after that main event that there was so much weight in the middle that it almost caved in. So that is not something you want to have happen at a professional fight on a big time network like Showtime, under the promotion of Golden Boy, nonetheless, in a new arena in the Barclays Center. So yeah, I mean, it was just a pretty crazy event. Probably not the best boxing event overall, but I mean, they did have some decent fights, and hopefully, from especially this last fight, it can set up for some sort of other matchups down the line. I would like to really see that Broner guy go up against Mayweather, or even against some of the other guys who Mayweather has fought with recently. So I mean, it'd be nice to see where Broner can go. I know Bradley, the one who beat Pacquiao, I would like to see him go up against Bradley. Bradley and Broner would be a good fight. I'm not sure about the weight classes and all that, so who knows how that'd pan out. Actually, Broner said after the fight that he would let the fans pick who his next opponent would be. So I guess whether he has some sort of voting poll or something up will be interesting to see. I'm sure Floyd Mayweather will probably be written in if he's not one of the options to vote for. So who knows? That may be the next fight. But I mean, anyways, so I don't want to go on and on thinking up theories or whatever, but that's something that you guys can discuss in the comments, or tell me what you guys think. Who would be a good matchup for Broner going forward now that he has a title? Yeah, and with that being said, like I mentioned with a lot of the other stuff, you can follow us on Twitter, sports_minded, and follow us there, and we'll keep you updated there as well. Just want to let you guys know we do have a new Instagram. Instagram, yeah. That's something we may start working on, and you guys can find that on the site. We have a bunch of buttons for you guys now where you can check out all the sites we're at, as far as social media and whatnot, and you can reach us there. I did have some other interesting news, I think. Can't really remember off the top of my head. Oh, well, I mean, there's the Los Angeles Clippers. The last update with that was that I don't know. They went so back and forth yesterday, but the latest out of that was that Doc Rivers has told the Clippers he does not want to go there. So I guess he'll stay with the Celtics. I guess him and Danny Ainge of the Celtics had set up for a press conference, but that press conference got canceled. So weird. Who knows what the future for Doc Rivers is, but it doesn't look like he'll be with the Clippers. So the Clippers have started talking to Byron Scott more and more, so it looks like he may be the guy who will lead the way for the Clippers in this next year. And with that being said, I also heard the former Clippers coach, the one who was recently fired, Vinny Del Negro, was speaking with the Nuggets last time I checked. And going back to the Celtics, I believe Paul Pierce is now in trade discussions between the Celtics and the Bucks. So we may see Paul Pierce go to the Bucks after spending his whole career in Boston. And then just two more things real quick. Dwayne Wade had to get his knee drained before playing in Game 7. And then also Matt Schweringer, I believe I'm saying his name right. I'm not very good with these very odd last names. But he has an MLB best 11 wins right now for the Tigers. He's a Tigers pitcher. He's the first one to do so since Roger Clemens in 2000. No, excuse me. 2000. In 1997, when Roger Clemens was still pitching, Roger Clemens was the first one to get 11 to go 11-0 in decisions from the pitcher's mound. So now you can add Schweringer to the list. I believe I'm saying his name right. Matt Schweringer. Yeah, Max Scherzer. So yeah, anyways, just another quick little fun fact for you guys, throwing it out there. The Tigers did play the Red Sox today, beating them up 10-3 in the win, going to Max Scherzer, like I said. Anyways, with all that being said, a lot of news for you guys to kind of go over with there. It's a rather long video. I usually don't like to go this long, but anyways, we'll keep you guys updated with more news and stuff going on at sportsmindednews.com. Check us out. Thank you guys for watching. My name is James Williams, and have a great night.